There was a time when Kristy McNichol appeared to be everywhere all at once. Her bright smile carried a natural warmth. Her presence felt sincere, and the emotional depth she brought to her work resonated with audiences in a way that very few performers could achieve. She was not someone who simply delivered lines or imitated a role. Instead, she fully immersed herself in every character, making each performance feel real and deeply human. During the 1970s and 1980s, she became far more than just another young performer in Hollywood. In many ways, she represented the emotional heartbeat of a generation. Yet, just as her popularity reached its highest point, she quietly stepped away. There was no controversy, no public goodbye, just an unexpected silence. For years, people wondered what had happened to her, and only much later did the full picture begin to emerge. Born on September 11, 1962, in Los Angeles, Kristy entered a world often associated with ambition and stardom. However, her early life did not reflect the glamour typically linked to that city. She grew up in a modest household with her mother Carolyn and her older brother Jimmy McNichol. Her father left the family when she was still very young, leaving Carolyn to raise her children on her own. Determined to provide stability, Carolyn worked tirelessly, taking on multiple jobs, including office work, selling cosmetics, and even accepting small roles in low-budget productions. Her motivation was not fame, but survival, as she struggled to keep a roof over their heads and food on the table. It was during one of those small film jobs that an unexpected opportunity arose. Unable to afford childcare, Carolyn brought both Kristy and Jimmy along while she worked as a background extra. While on set, someone noticed the children's natural charm and suggested they might be perfect for television commercials. That simple observation opened a door the family had never imagined walking through. Before long, both siblings were attending auditions, appearing in advertisements for products like toothpaste, breakfast cereals, and soft drinks. While Jimmy quickly adapted with his easygoing nature, Kristy stood out for entirely different reasons. There was something unique about her, an intangible quality that blended innocence with emotional depth. Casting professionals were drawn to her ability to communicate complex feelings through subtle expressions. Even at the age of 10, she was not merely acting, but genuinely feeling every moment she portrayed. By the mid-1970s, Kristy had begun building a steady career, appearing in guest roles on popular shows such as Apple's Way and Starsky and Hutch. However, her life changed dramatically in 1976 when she was cast as Letitia Buddy Lawrence in the ABC drama Family. At just 13 years old, she delivered a performance that stood out for its honesty and emotional depth. The series tackled serious topics, including divorce, growing up, and identity, and her character became central to its emotional storytelling. Unlike the idealized children often portrayed on television at the time, Buddy was layered, sensitive, outspoken, and, at times, uncertain. Kristy's portrayal felt so genuine that it seemed less like acting and more like an extension of her own personality. Her work did not go unnoticed. Critics praised her maturity and authenticity, recognizing a level of talent rarely seen at such a young age. She received 3 consecutive Emmy nominations for Best Supporting Actress and won twice, in 1977 and 1979. These achievements were remarkable for someone so young and solidified her reputation as one of the most promising performers of her generation. Audiences embraced her wholeheartedly. She appeared on magazine covers, participated in talk shows, and earned the affectionate label of America's Little Sister. Yet behind the scenes, her life was far more complicated. Her mother not only managed her career, but also depended on her income to support the family. This dynamic forced Kristy into an adult role long before she was ready. She later admitted that she often felt like the parent in the household, while her mother relied on her emotionally. This reversal created a heavy burden that gradually began to affect her well-being. While other teenagers were focused on friendships, school activities, and growing up, Kristy's world revolved around contracts, scripts, and maintaining a professional image. Her schedule was packed with filming, interviews, and promotional work, leaving little room for a normal adolescence. By the time Family ended in 1980, She had already accomplished more than many actors achieve in an entire career. She was admired and respected, yet internally she felt exhausted and incomplete. Without fully realizing it, she had given so much of herself to the industry that little remained for her own personal life. When Family came to an end, Christy was only 18 years old, but she carried the fatigue of someone far older. Having spent most of her life working, she was viewed by the industry as a reliable professional rather than a young adult in need of rest. Offers came in rapidly, and she accepted them without pause. That same year, she starred alongside Tatum O'Neal in the film Little Darlings, which explored adolescence through the story of two girls from very different backgrounds. Her portrayal of Angel Bright, a tough yet vulnerable character, drew widespread praise. Critic Roger Ebert noted that her performance made audiences eager to see what she would do next. The film elevated her to cultural icon status, with magazines celebrating her as a symbol of independence and authenticity. Also in 1980, she appeared in The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia alongside Dennis Quaid and Mark Hamill, earning one of the highest salaries ever paid to a teenage actress. The following year, she starred in Only When I Laugh, taking on the challenging role of a daughter dealing with a parent's alcoholism. Her performance earned her a Golden Globe nomination, further cementing her reputation. From the outside, her career appeared unstoppable. Internally, however, she was struggling. She later revealed that she found it difficult to say no, whether to directors, producers, or even her own family. The constant demands of Hollywood left her overwhelmed, and she often found herself committed to projects before she had time to process the decision. By 1982, signs of strain began to emerge. Her film The Pirate Movie was poorly received, and she received a Golden Raspberry nomination for Worst Actress. While this was a harsh contrast to her earlier praise, the real issue lay deeper. Years of pressure, lack of rest, and emotional strain were taking a serious toll. In 1984, she accepted a role in Just the Way You Are, filmed in the French Alps. The story of a musician learning self-acceptance closely mirrored her own internal struggles. By that point, her mental health had deteriorated significantly. She experienced panic attacks, recurring nightmares, and severe weight loss, alarming those around her. After returning from France, it became evident that she had reached a breaking point. Doctors diagnosed her with exhaustion, anxiety, and deep emotional trauma resulting from years of pressure. Despite attempts to frame her condition as a simple imbalance, the media portrayed her unfairly, labeling her unstable. In truth, she was trying to protect herself. She later described the experience as even more difficult than overcoming addiction. Although she returned to complete the film, the vibrant energy that once defined her seemed diminished. In the years that followed, she attempted to rebuild her career with roles in Dream Lover, You Can't Hurry Love, and The Forgotten One. However, both the industry and her priorities had changed. She began experiencing insomnia, mood swings, and deep sadness, symptoms later identified as bipolar disorder. During this difficult time, her brother Jimmy remained by her side, offering support and care when she needed it most. In the late 1980s, she returned to television through Empty Nest, a spin-off of The Golden Girls. Playing Barbara Weston, she found a sense of belonging and stability that had been missing from her life. The show was successful, and audiences welcomed her return. However, despite this renewed success, her internal struggles continued. In 1992, during the 5th season, she made the surprising decision to leave, citing health concerns. It was not until 2001 that she publicly shared her diagnosis of bipolar disorder, speaking openly in hopes of helping others who were facing similar challenges. After stepping away from acting, Christy turned her focus toward healing and self-discovery. She began teaching acting at a private school in Los Angeles, sharing her experiences and insights with younger generations. Her life became quieter and more grounded, filled with meaningful routines, friendships, and personal interests such as yoga and tennis. She also found comfort in caring for her miniature dachshunds, often remarking that animals offered unconditional companionship free from judgment. In 2012, she made another deeply personal revelation, sharing publicly that she was gay and had been in a long-term relationship with Marty Allen since the early 1990s. This was not done for attention, but as an act of honesty and support for others who felt different or marginalized. Together, they built a peaceful and loving life away from the spotlight. Today, Kristy McNichol continues to reside in Los Angeles at the age of 62, dedicating her time to teaching, mentoring, and occasionally connecting with fans. Her net worth, estimated between $7 and $8 million, largely comes from her earlier work, though she has made it clear that financial success is not what defines her. Instead, her story is defined by resilience, self-awareness, and the courage to prioritize her well-being. Her journey is not simply about fame followed by withdrawal. It is a story of transformation and strength. She chose to leave the spotlight not because she could not succeed, but because she wanted a more authentic and peaceful life. Her experience serves as a powerful reminder that behind every public figure is a real person with unseen struggles. Rather than losing herself to fame, she ultimately rediscovered who she truly was by stepping away from it. Looking back on her legacy invites reflection. Whether through her work and family, her unforgettable performance in Little Darlings, or her role in Empty Nest, each contribution left a lasting impression. Her story encourages audiences to remember her work, reflect on her journey, and continue exploring the lives of those who once shaped Hollywood before choosing to redefine themselves on their own terms.